Tonight we have a special guest and presentation, and so I'm really excited to get started. Dr. Gwendolyn Avington is here tonight, and she is going to be presenting Mentorship Molding Toastmasters for the Future. Dr. Gwendolyn Avington is the owner and CEO of Claytac Consulting, a team building, conflict resolution, and diversity, equity, and inclusion DEI training and consulting company. As for Toastmasters, this lady lives a busy life. She is a member of New Horizons Toastmaster Club. She is a charter member of Platform Speakers Toastmaster Club in District 1. On September 25th, she was awarded the District 7 Toastmasters Rookie of the Year for the 2020-2021 Toastmasters Year. Dr. Gwendolyn has the privilege to be the first ever District 7 Pathways Chairs for the 2020-2021 Toastmasters Year as Pathways was being rolled out as the new educational program. She was also excited to coordinate the first ever trio party game for the annual conference in May 2021. She has completed 2 paths in the Pathways educational program, Innovative Planning and Dynamic Leadership Pathways. Dr. Gwendolyn has completed the Pathways mentoring program to earn her Toastmasters Pathways Mentors Program designation. Currently, Dr. Gwendolyn is serving as the Toastmasters Leadership Institute, TLI, Curriculum Coordinator. She is an area director in Area 73. She is the co-mentor in both North Eugene Toastmasters Club and United Toastmasters Club. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Dr. Gwendolyn Avington, Molding Toastmasters for the Future. Dr. Gwendolyn Avington.
Thank you, Lorri, and thank you to everyone that has come tonight. Molding Toastmasters for the Future. Tonight, I want to share with you in 3 different layers of mentorship. I want to talk about mentorship in general. Then I want to get to the nuts and bolts of mentorship, the Toastmaster Club mentor, and then speak lastly about the Toastmasters Pathways Mentors Program. The hopeful outcome is that you, the audience, will walk away with an idea of how you can be a part of molding Toastmasters for the future. I want to start with an interactive portion of this presentation, and we'll have a couple of places to where we are doing interactive activities. If you would put in the chat or unmute yourself and speak out and answer this question: what does mentorship mean to you? What does mentorship mean to you? And we will have Eldred, I believe, as the chat master.
Mentor equals source of help.
Okay.
Jim says encouraging somebody to make the best use of their skills.
Okay.
Ellen says mentorship means listening and only giving advice if needed, but allowing a person to grow and explore on their own pathway of life. Renee says helping new and current members or prospective members get connected to another Toastmaster as their support in their goals. Pat says someone who can model and assist someone in meeting their goals. Tiger says modeling and teaching. Mark says helping less experienced people attain their goals. And Miranda, dedicated observer and encourager. Dan says mentorship is a direction of someone towards a goal by modeling and teaching.
Huh. All right. The Merriam-Webster dictionary defines mentorship as the influence, guidance, and direction given to mentors. Who needs a mentor? Well, everyone needs a mentor. These men on this screen, you know very well, and we'll talk about a little bit later. When you think about mentorship, when you were born and brought home, your parents were your first mentors. They taught you their value system, taught you right from wrong, and how to go about guiding your life to be productive citizens. As you grew into adulthood and walked into your new career, there was another form of mentorship, an experienced person in the particular career path that you had chosen. Someone there to take you under their wings and show you support, show you the ropes, how things are done, answer your questions, so that you then could become the next mentor to the person coming behind you, and you would gain the skill and knowledge from that mentor's experience on that job. All of us can think of people that have mentored us in our career, in our lives. We can look at that and say, yes, everyone needs a mentor. When you think about this photograph of Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, Bill Gates is the richest man in the world, and Warren Buffett is the mentor to this Harvard dropout. Imagine that. This is, to me, a beautiful example of mentorship. Mentors. How does the mentor mold the protege? What is the purpose of a mentor? The mentor is meant to tap into the protege's existing skills and knowledge and elevate them to a place to where then they turn around and mentor others, that they are performing at a level, whether it's in the workplace, whether it's in Toastmasters, or some other area of their life. A mentor is meant to help the protege to elevate. The mentor's role, just as this sign denotes, is to guide and assist their protege, support them along the way to the goals that they have set for themselves, give them advice on how to get there or pitfalls that they may have found along the way as they were learning. They want to be a helpmate to that protege. A mentor should always be functioning simultaneously in the 3 A's of mentoring: active listening, availability, and analysis. The mentor should have the skills to analyze, Where is my protege starting from? What do they need from me? How can I effectively help them to reach the goals that they have set? Making sure that they are available to answer questions, available to quiet maybe that protege's fears as they walk into a new area or learn something new. Being able to hear what they are saying, not what you think they ought to be saying or how you think as the mentor they should be, but really listening to what they need from you. We are there to serve that protege's need. The successful mentoring relationship has 4 phases. We have the preparation stage, the negotiating stage, the enabling growth stage, and closure. What do you mean, Gwendolyn? Preparing that protege to excel at their full potential. That is what the mentor does. Sometimes that may require negotiating, whether it's negotiating through that protege's emotions, their fears, navigating and negotiating when and where they are to speak about a certain topic or not, and then giving them tools to grow within themselves and be able to illuminate and see who they are, aside and separate from what you may have thought they should be. And finally, at a certain point, there's closure. That protege is ready to fly on his or her own. They are ready to go, and you can say, "Well done, Mr. or Miss Mentor." Need a hand up? The mentor has a hand up. The club mentor, in particular, when we talk about Toastmaster club mentors, they are the staple of Toastmasters. They are meeting our new membership where they are and offering to assist them, to help them, to answer questions about what is this Toastmasters? What does it entail? What is pathways? How do I navigate it? Where do I fit within this club that is already functioning? How do I find my place of belonging inside of the club? They are the rock stars of Toastmasters, your club mentors. This is where we all want to get to as we grow ourselves and become better Toastmasters, skilled communicators, and leaders. We want to be building the mentorship that lives inside of us. Each of us have that ability to mentor someone else. Not only does Toastmaster offer the club mentoring, but as we'll talk about a little later on in this presentation, we have the Pathways Mentors program. We in Toastmasters are teaching for success. We want that protege to arrive at the place that he or she wants to be because they are setting the pace. You are guiding with your experience. The essence of club mentors and protege relationship is that the mentor is determined to allow that protege to teach them how to take their skill and knowledge and be successful as they walk along. The protege and mentor relationship is one of trust. Let me say that again. That mentor protege relationship is one of trust. The key to it is one word: relationship. They have trusted you, the mentor, and you, the mentor, have invested in them for the betterment of what they want to achieve in Toastmasters. The mentor protege relationship is a two-way street. If you hear nothing else in this presentation, take this away. Write it down, mentors. Toastmasters is a process, just like many things in life. It takes time. Time. What is time? What do you mean, Gwendolyn? Let me tell you what I mean. When we are mentoring, we want to walk into it knowing that we are going to teach the T in time, to teach that protege how to elevate, how to build strategic relationships, how to navigate Toastmasters, how to guide them, how to set their goals and set their sights. Maybe you see something in them that they don't even see in themselves. So you're helping them to set the pace. So you're teaching T in time. Oh, but there's more in time. The mentor should inspire that protege to be all that they can be. They should inspire them to look within, determine what it is that they want to do on this Toastmasters journey, and then inspire them. For me, my mentor, when I began this walk in Toastmasters, inspired me. He was in on the ground floor of the Pathways program as a Pathways guide. He was a sought after speaker and presenter in all sorts of Toastmaster circles. He was the trainer as I began my role as the Pathways chair. He was also the Pathways Proponents Committee advisor, and he is a DTM. Wow. Big, lofty shoes that this newbie Toastmaster was looking at. And he inspired me not to be him, but to define my own path. What do you want out of Toastmasters? And let's go get it, girl. We had many of inspiring conversations, and he taught me in many things about being on this journey in Toastmasters. There's the M in time. Mentors should motivate their protege, motivate them to be all that they can be, all that they choose to be. Step out into the Toastmaster deep, even showing them in places to where they may think that they can't even arrive, or it's too big for them, or I could never work at the district level. My mentor told me when I had all those thoughts, you already have what you think you don't have. Powerful, powerful, I tell you, because I had to go back and look in the mirror and say, do I have it? Do I really have it? What is he seeing that I don't see? Wow, I already have what I think I don't have. It motivated me to go searching for me and looking for what I had that he could see that I didn't see. What a great gift. Mentors are like surgeons. They skillfully move through that protege's life and help them to see, take the blinders off, and see themselves. The mentor, the surgeon. The last letter in time is in power. My mentor and yours too should empower you to be the best you that you can be. A club mentor is meant to help you to strive for excellence, your excellence as the protege. My mentor encouraged me to stretch into roles in the club. Oh, you can do this role. You've got it. It's okay. When it came time, he encouraged me to take a role on the district level. And I'm like, oh my goodness, the district level. Wow, can I really work at the district level? I'm a young Toastmaster. I may not have the goods. Oh, yes, you do. Yes, you can. Lean into it, was the words of my mentor. And that is how I arrived at the first ever District 7 Pathways Chair. My mentor, encouraging me every step of the way. Well, little did I know when I arrived at the district level, the then PQD trusted me. There goes that word again. Trusted me with this big project. Trusted me to know how to develop and implement with him this Pathways Proponents program. That was Pathways was new to our district, and we had people that were apprehensive about it. That was a huge deal to me that he trusted me with it. Thank you, James Wants. Thank you, Eldred Brown, for mentoring me. Mentorship, so important. It teaches you and helps you to strive to places that you may not think that you have to go to. It takes time. Teach, inspire, motivate, empower. Mentorship. That is what it's all about. Here's another interactive place to where I want to ask you before I go on. What are some characteristics of a Toastmaster mentor to you? Please put your responses in the chat. And if you don't have the chat feature, please raise your hand and then unmute and give your response. Eldred is going to be monitoring the chat again. The characteristics of a Toastmaster mentor.
I will start. This isn't in chat. This is my own observation. Experience. And we do have some chats coming in now. Motivate and communicate. Listens more than talks. Cares. Empathy. Open and friendly. Mentoring is a challenge, but also an opportunity. Compassion.
I want to give
Listening.
everybody time because if they're like some are like me, I am very much a slow typer. So I want to give time and space because this is such an important topic. Most of us, if we've been in Toastmasters anytime, we've experienced mentors. Some experiences better than others. Are there any more in the chat, Eldred?
Well, I don't know if you heard me say good listener. That's the most recent one.
Okay. And I did. This is a brilliant group here tonight. All of those are excellent characteristics of a Toastmaster mentor. As you see in the picture that I have here, some folks are recognizable. One, Mr. Patrick Locke over to the right, he's having a lot of fun, as is our past regional one president. She's having a lot of fun too, and the gals in the middle. It should be fun mentoring. Mentors are wise, they do bring their experience, they do know how to navigate through certain challenges, they are a trusted guide to the protege. They are skilled advisors on how to help that protege elevate, and they are good teachers. The mentor, excuse me, they may not have all the answers to the question of the protege. And that's okay. It's perfectly fine not to have the answers. The mentor should then go and find those answers or someone that can help the protege get the answer to their question. In this way, the mentor shows that they care, that they are interested in what the protege is asking about. If the mentor makes a mistake, we're only human. They may do some things that may not necessarily hit the protege just right. But as long as you have a good communication structure, mentor to protege, that's all right too. Mentoring new members of Toastmasters is one of the most challenging, least defined, and often neglected parts of what we do as Toastmasters. The most important thing that I can give you tonight is that you and I have the ability to change the frame. We can become mentors. We can become a part of something bigger than ourselves, molding Toastmasters for the future. Club mentors. This is the part that we have been talking about. They are the folks that keep the wheel on the bus of Toastmasters because they're developing and continuing to have people, draw people out to reach their full potential. Mentorship can be yours. All you have to do, as my mentor once told me, lean into it. Lean into it. You want to be a part of being that Molder-Vator. Get the motivation to motivate others. It is such a rewarding experience to be a Molder-Vator. I have been learning that as I co-mentor in 2 different clubs. I have been excited. Most of the time, we think of mentoring as, oh, we're just helping the protege. But the mentor gains so much when they take the time to make sure that they are motivating and cultivating that new talent, that new Toastmasters. What can they bring? I've heard many as I've moved around talk about how somebody told them, I see something in you. Have you ever thought about doing such and such? And maybe they haven't thought about it. Maybe they thought as I thought. It was lofty to be able to think that I could work at the district level. Little did I know, the more that I learned, it's like, oh my goodness, what does this person do? And what does that person do? I'm quite sure that I gave my mentor gray hair because every time that I would read something, I would call or I would email. I was reading this. What does this mean? How is it that we get to hear? What do I need to do? Da 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 da. And I'm sure many are the times I wasn't in his house, but I'm sure that James was sitting there going, does this girl ever sleep? She's asking me all these questions about Toastmasters and how to arrive. But he would always motivate me. He would tell me about things, talk like I'm scientific. And I was writing, my writing of speeches was mostly scientific and data driven. And he said to me one day, everyone knows you're a scientist. How about you try to tell stories and tell people about you? Tell people about me? Who would want to know about me? I don't know that I want people to know about me. What do I tell? And he skillfully led me through the Black Pearl. I was talking about myself, relating it a little bit scientific about how the pearls were made. But then I began to talk about how this black pearl was made. I wore my black pearls that day. And he just smiled and sat in the back of the room. And when I sat down, as I walked to my seat, that was in the old days of meeting in person. He smiled and gave me a nod, like, well done. And I sat down grinning from ear to ear, motivating. He was doing. He was digging out all those things that he could see that I couldn't see as a young Toastmaster. I was just lucky to be here. I didn't really have a lot to contribute. Now, if you talked about scientific things, certainly I had that as Dr. Gwendolyn Avington, but I couldn't be a Toastmaster. No way. He moved to make sure to draw me out, and we had fun doing it. Someday I'll tell some of the funny stories. All of you that know James once realize that he is a funny guy. He can make you laugh at the pages on a book. We had a lot of fun while he was motivating me. The last piece of what I want to share with you tonight is the Pathways Mentors Program. Here's your sign. No, I'm not Larry the Cable Guy. I'm Gwendolyn. Club success in pathways requires mentorship. The sign is absolutely correct. Two ways I'm talking to you about tonight in this presentation. Club mentorship or becoming a club mentor. We just came through. Toastmasters offers a program called the Pathways Mentors Program. It opens up to everyone once they complete level 2 in any of the 11 pathways. At this point, you may be thinking, can I be a mentor? Do I have what it takes? Why should I even look at the Pathways Mentors Program? It may not apply to me. I want to answer 3 questions moving forward through the rest of this presentation that have been asked about the Pathways Mentors Program. The first question that I want to answer is, what is the Pathways Mentors Program? Then I want to go in and talk a little bit more about who can do the Pathways Mentors Program. And lastly, I want to answer why you, yes, I said you, should become a mentor or join the Pathways Mentors Program. The Pathways Mentors Program is a pathway to success. As I said in the previous slide, it's open to any Toastmaster that has finished their level 2 in any of the 11 pathways. Be careful, you might miss it. I know I did. There's a little box that opens up down in the left bottom corner when you complete level 2 that says suggested programs. If you click on that, you will begin to get information about the Pathways Mentors Program. The Pathways Mentors Program consists of 2 parts. There is a prepare to mentor and mentoring, that's one half of it, and then advanced mentoring. In the mentor piece, there are some assessments that the mentor has to do. They need to talk to their vice president of education, have the crucial conversation. Why do you want to be a mentor? What skills do you believe you bring to the table to be a mentor? Do the self-assessment to determine what your strengths are as a mentor, what places that you may even have opportunities to grow yourself as a mentor as you elevate your protege. There's no speech in the A part of the first portion of the Pathways Mentors Program. There is a form that when you finish your assessments that you do, is called the project completion form. This project completion form, you are signing it saying, I've completed all of the components then that gets me ready for the mentoring section of the Pathways Mentors Program. Mentoring. When we start the Pathways Mentors Program, the mentoring piece has several documents that are critical to the success of the mentor-protege relationship. We have the protege success plan inside of the mentoring section. This success plan is for the protege to fill out and for them to define their goals. What do they want to achieve in this project because it's a single project. It could be a single speech called a project that you are mentoring through your protege. There's in the B part, you may continue on with that same protege, but in this instance, you're doing a single project and seeing it to completion as the mentor. There's the mentor's communication tracking log. It is quite important to the process because on the communication tracking log, you are looking at filling out what you talked about with the protege, the short and long term goals that you set with that protege, communication, how are we going to talk, whether email, phone calls, texting, etc. And it has a section for action items on it. We talked about this, and the next time we meet, we're going to have this complete and work on the next thing. So it is a critical piece of the mentoring section. There is a protege self-assessment involved. In this self-assessment, that is going to help you throughout the project as the mentor. How do they see themselves? Where do they see themselves? And where do they want to go from here? You have to have a roadmap to get to where you're going. So the mentor uses this to inform how they lead and teach the protege. And the last piece of it is the mentoring evaluation. Not only does the mentor evaluate the protege, but the protege gets to evaluate the mentor. This is good because each of them can then determine what they did well versus what needs some work for the next go around. And the protege will have that evaluation to say, you set this goal for here and you've reached the goal. Or you've set the goal here, but maybe you only got to here. And here are some skill builders to get you the rest of the way to completion, to where you want to go. This will become especially important if that same protege is the protege that you have for the B part of the Pathways Mentors program. Advanced mentoring in the Pathways Mentors program. That is the B part to the completion of the Pathways Mentors program. In it, you will find that you have a lot of the similar things that you had initially in the mentoring piece for documentation. You have your ongoing communication tracking log. You have your protege success plan. You still are going to have the goals that they set. What is added to this commitment is a monthly goal check. And it's added because this is a 6 months commitment. You are in it to win it for 6 months with your protege. In this time, on the monthly check, you are going through the goals that you've set. It works really great if you have that same protege that you started with in the beginning. But if you don't choose to move forward with that protege, or they don't choose to move forward past that one project, and you have another protege, it's advantageous to have them to fill in all the protege success plans, their self-assessment, so that you know where you're starting and where you're going and how you want to map out a plan to help that protege succeed. mentorship. That is what we are talking about. In this commitment, as I said, the monthly check is the biggest add. And you want to utilize that to your advantage, mentor. Seeing and setting goals, bite size. We want to get a project done in this 6 months. Maybe it's a high performance leadership project that they want you, since you've gone through a high performance leadership project, to help guide them through that process. Once you know what their goals are, then you can write that on the monthly goals check and say, okay, we're going to pick the project. I'm going to pick a team, my guidance committee, for example, in a high performance leadership project. Come back and check. Did you get your committee done? If you got your committee together, what else did you accomplish? What do you need to accomplish? So you're guiding them in this 6 months to get this project done. In essence, just as this picture says, you are using your experience to give your protege experience to become competent Toastmasters using their skills and knowledge that they bring to the table and the ones that you have that help elevate them to learn and share their abilities within their club, within their project, and certainly perhaps at the district level. They'll choose to grow and work. It's your training and skills that will help take them there, mentors. Are you ready? Are you ready? Because mentorship is what it's all about. The advanced mentoring, when it's done for that 6 months, you, the mentor, will then turn around and give another 5 to 7 minute speech. In that 5 to 7 minute speech, you will talk about your 6 months experience. And if in that 6 months experience, you and your protege maybe had some difficulty, maybe you want to share pitfalls that you saw from yourself as a mentor. And most importantly, how you and your protege work through those to work it out. Because that's a skill, to be able to, even when you hit the bump in the road, to be able to smooth that in such a way that everybody is still growing. A call to action. Calling all mentors. Are you ready? Are you ready? We can do this. Toastmasters District 7 needs you. We as mentors have to always be looking at the big picture. We need to take into account, where am I needed? And I'm saying to you tonight, we need mentors in District 7 Toastmasters. We need you to step up and step out. Those of you that are apprehensive, saying, well, I'll leave that to the rest of the guys, I would say lean in. Lean in. You have what you think you don't have. Step out. Come and join us in this Toastmasters journey to do mentorship, molding the future Toastmasters for District 7. Bite size, District 7. Who knows? You may end up on an international stage, motivating people all over the world. But you have to step out and step into the Toastmaster deep. I didn't know if I could mentor when I became co-mentors in the 2 clubs that I am currently mentoring in. I have given of myself in both, but I've learned so much about the membership, about myself, my teaching style, my leadership style, my communication style. I've grown. Most of the time, people think mentorship is about the protege. But I can tell you, I have grown myself as a communicator, as a leader. I feel like that I can take on almost anything. We as Toastmasters, we can sit still or we can do something about mentorship. We are at that fork in the road. We are there. We need you. And I hope I've said something to cause your mind to think, do I want to be a mentor? How can I become a mentor? What is it that I need to do to stretch out in the mentorship deep? Again, thank you all for coming to this presentation. I am so impassioned, I would use the word, about mentorship because it's meant so much to me and my journey. I mentioned 2 people, but indeed, District 7 as a whole has been good to me. I've asked many questions. I've walked through doors that I didn't think were possible in my short time as a Toastmaster. All of the mentors that are on this call and the ones that will see this recording later should stand up and walk with pride, looking at how they have helped me to achieve. I put these things on this slide not to brag, not at all to brag, but to say, yes, you can. When I started my Toastmasters journey, I didn't set out to get any of these trophies or plaques. I just wanted to be a Toastmaster. The people that have mentored me through this process and continue to do so as I continue to take on roles, I can't even begin to tell you the benefit that you have had, the impact that you've had on my life, and taking the time to teach, to inspire, to motivate, and empower me to be all that I can be to reach my full potential as a District 7 Toastmaster. Thank you all. And at this time, I'll turn things back over to Lorri Andersen. Thank you again for coming.
Thank you, Dr. Gwen. That was just totally amazing. Thank you so much for everything on that presentation, on how you've given yourself. And thank you so much for all that you've done and are doing in our district. We have a few minutes left. I would like to ask if anyone has questions, Dr. Gwen, or anyone here on the presentation to raise your hands. I see some Mark or Eldred have their hands raised. Do you want to just speak out and ask your questions?
Yes, I'd like to ask a little bit about more the nuts and bolts of mentoring. Back when we used to have live club meetings, mentors would typically talk with their mentee or their protege in a corner of the room, either before or after the club meeting. And now that we're on Zoom 100% of the time, we're thinking about doing something similar with breakout rooms where the mentee or protege and the mentor could get together in a separate breakout room after the club meeting. Wondered if anyone's heard anything like that happening, if there's any success stories, or if we're kind of blazing new trails here.
Are doing that, Mark. Thank you for the question. We are doing that in my home club, New Horizons Toastmasters, because we had to have a way to engage new members and new people that were visiting. And we found that to be a way of taking them to a breakout room, talking to them. If we have somebody that says, how do I join? We usually will put a breakout room at the end of the meeting. And if they can't stay, then we offer them to follow up either on a Zoom or an email. So you're spot on.
Yes, it's interesting. I've been referring to pre-COVID as the old days recently myself. So just to hear somebody else say that is kind of confirms how I feel. Pat, you have your hand up. Would you like to go ahead and ask or share?
Yeah, I have a question. I'm the vice president of education, and sometimes we'll have a new member, and maybe we identify someone we think would be a good match as a mentor to that person. Maybe they have a similar background, or they're in the same type of business or something. And we ask that person, hey, would you like to mentor this new member? And they say, well, what's involved? What do I need to do? Does Toastmasters, either on toastmasters.org or somewhere, is there like a little, just kind of one sheet or something that said, you know, a mentor is sort of required to do at least these minimal things. These are, you know, you can always go above and beyond and do all these other things, but what would be sort of the minimum requirements of a mentor? Is there something that kind of lays it out? Well, let's say you need to meet with your mentee, your protege, you know, at least, I don't know, twice a month, or you need to, you know, guide them through this, or is there anything that would give a potential mentor something to look at and say, yes, I can do that, or sorry, I don't have time to do that?
I want the trio folks to follow up after I say what I'm going to say. Where I found a lot of information was in that introduction to mentoring, the project that you find in level 2 of any of the 11 pathways. It gives a lot of information about mentoring. Also, when you join the Pathways Mentors Program, if you do that after you complete level 2, it gives you some of those skill sets as you read through those projects. But I don't know of any quick sheet that or fast sheet that we have in District 7, but maybe PJ, Lorri, Eldred, or some of the others may have a different idea.
Well, I see that Eldred put something into the chat that I was just thinking about in the old program. The guideline, I'm just going to read what he says here, was to guide the new Toastmasters for the first 3 speeches. So it doesn't say how long that that was, or what kind of skills that you would help that person with. But
yeah, even that is helpful, because then the you know, the potential mentor knows, oh, that doesn't sound too bad. I could get the person through the first 3 speeches. I could, you know, meet with them if it wasn't, you know, let's say if it didn't require twice a week, or you know, something like that. You know, just yeah, some basic guidelines where they could look at, and then they could say, yes, I have time to do that, or oh, gee, I can't commit to 6 months, and I can't commit to 3 evenings a week meeting with this person, just so they don't think it's too big or too much to handle it.
that's something that I will follow up on for you.
I'd like to throw in a comment here too. I think we need to make a distinction between what we previously knew as mentors, and Eldred pointed out that that was from the CL manual, the Competent Leader Manual. You had to check off, you had to mentor a new member through their first 3 speeches.
Right.
That's different than this mentoring program, this Pathways Mentor program that Gwendolyn talked about tonight. That is, the Pathways Mentoring program, that is quite a substantial step up. And in order to be assigned as an official Pathways mentor to a new member, you need to complete a full path and the mentoring project, or that mentoring program. So it's a whole different level of commitment, but I do want to take a step back and say, mentoring relationships are always subject to negotiation. Some people need a more hands-on mentor than others. Some people might say, oh, I want to practice every speech with you before I deliver it. Other people say, I'll call you when I need you. Sometimes the mentor just checks in once a month to see how you're doing. So it's a negotiated process. And I see Gwendolyn nodding her head there. And I don't know, I have not personally completed the Pathways Mentoring project yet. I should do that. But and I'm motivated now to get started on that. So I don't know what they say in there, but my experience with mentoring is that it's definitely a negotiated relationship, and the amount of time commitment varies with any 2 people. Okay, and I'll stop talking at that point. And it looks like Marv has his hand up.
I'm sorry, we're having some problems with our chat on our computer right now, so that's why I waved my hand around. But in the old legacy program, I kept the item 296, which was talking about how to choose, how to line up mentors and mentees. I found that very, very useful, and I hung on to that stuff, even though it's now quote obsolete. But it had some very, very good forms in there. What are your interests? What are your goals and such? Then you could start melding people together. And I was using that when I was a VPE. I am doing that advanced. I'm in the advanced section right now, advanced mentoring in that mentorship program. I just haven't got it completed yet. I think that was a very, very good resource to keep.
Well, Dr. Gwen, I think we're all motivated to, even if we've done it, we're motivated to do it again. Just your stories and your excitement and enthusiasm tonight was just really, really brought us to the next level. So I really appreciate it. And friends, I wanted to tell you, you all probably already know there is an incentive to join and complete the Pathways Mentoring Program. So it's on the D7 website. Take a look at that and let me know, or send me some questions, or let me know that you're going to start it. And so I'm excited to see the results of what Dr. Gwen has just shared with us tonight, how that's going to work in our district.